Today, we're talking real estate. We're talking politics. First up, real estate is back. After several years of fears when it comes to buying and selling, we are the hotspot in the country once again. But why? We'll discuss a few issues that could impact your property values this morning. Welcome back to Orlando Matters. Today we are talking real estate. We have author Garrett Kinney. He's the author of a new book called Buying and Owning Property in Central Florida. Congratulations on the new book. Great to have you here.
Thank you, John.
Appreciate you being here. It's interesting, too, because buying and owning property here in Central Florida is different than most everywhere else in the country for a number of reasons. You've been a developer. You've been all over the place. Explain why it's so different here in Central Florida for people.
John, no matter where you go to buy property, there's that key word that we use all the time. Location, location, location. And here in Orlando, we definitely have that location.
What I find interesting is when you're talking real estate in other cities where I've actually worked, you're talking about people who are just circulating. You know, somebody moves from the west side of town to the east side of town, or a job brings them in. But here in Central Florida, you're able to market worldwide, right? Where are you marketing properties right now?
Our expertise and our business, John, 95% of our business is selling to the overseas market. Predominantly before the crash, it was mainly UK and Ireland, but since the crash, we are in Canada, we're in South America. We're getting a lot of buyers from China now into Central Florida.
It's truly amazing how I mean, you're not just marketing here. You can produce a video, you can put a flyer together, send it around the world, and you've got interest that quickly. It's so unique, I think.
It's amazing because now our videos are produced in Chinese, are produced in Portuguese. So yeah, that's what we got to do to get the business.
So what are you seeing right now in our market?
I'm seeing a bigger increase from Brazil and China. The Chinese buyers that we would have dealt with 2 years ago, I have to say predominantly we're looking at California. But now they've very quickly learned what you buy in California for $1 million is $500,000 or less here in Central Florida.
I know a lot of people from foreign countries will also buy a place where they can come for maybe a month, maybe 2 months at a time, and they rent it out the rest of the time. And I know a lot of people in Central Florida also interested in investment properties. Well, what are you seeing in the investment property market right now?
You've got two types of buyers, John. You have predominantly the investor. He's going to be just looking at the figures. You know, what does it cost to me? What return am I getting? Then we have what we call the lifestyle buyer, the one that you've sort of referred to, that predominantly they want to buy a home here in Central Florida. They want to use it 2 or 3 times a year. But when they're not here, then they rent it out. And that's what...
What are people saying about the market right now? Are they worried about Central Florida? Because we have seen, I mean, let's be honest, we've seen, Rick Singh just said we saw a 12% property value increase in Orange County last year. Some other neighborhoods are seeing upwards, you know, property values going up 50, 60, 100,000 over the past couple of years again. Does that worry you from the real estate side?
Obviously, too much growth too quickly can be worrying for anybody. But we still have a long way to get us back to where we were in 2008 when we were at the height of the market. So America and Florida seem to be stable. That's what the outside world looks at. And that's the only way I can talk to you because most of our business is coming from outside the US. When you're in South America, you're looking at the US as a stable economy. When you're in China, look at what happened in the last 2 to 3 weeks with the Chinese stock market. We've had a dramatic increase in the last 10 days coming from China, whereas a couple of weeks before that, it had slowed down. What
do people say over there, though? Are there worries, or what's the #1 selling point for Central Florida when you go to talk to somebody from Brazil? Is it all just about climate and beaches?
Safety of investment. They don't have that same reporting in Brazil. So when I've explained to them the way we do development here in Florida, we said, you know, we follow a set of rules, they're amazed, because they don't have those rules and regulations. Here is a very safe place.
I want to stop you there, yeah, because that sounds like a hassle to developers here. And I've talked to developers before who say, there are too many rules in place. But looking at it from afar, it does ease some of your concerns if you're thinking about buying, because everything's been taken care of, right?
Correct. That is correct. Like here, there is a system. There's a system. You know the rules of the game. So when you go to play that game, as long as you abide by the rules, you'll deliver a good project at the end.
You have some of the best companies in the world doing the marketing for you. We're talking Disney and Universal. They're advertising all over the world saying, hey, come to Orlando. This town's not going down anytime soon, that's for sure.
that's a question I've been asked while in the UK about, marketing of the properties, and I say exactly what you've just said. Look at what Universal spent just on the Harry Potter alone. Disney are now talking about Star Wars and revamping Hollywood studios. Those guys are spending big money. They've done immense market research, and I think what we have at the minute as 62 million visitors, we're going to see great increases in the coming years.
All right, very quickly. A lot of people I hear from always say, oh, I think I missed it. I should have bought it a year ago. What do you say to people like that?
Okay, I don't look at real estate as a 12 or a 24-month hit. When I talk to people, I talk about real estate as a 5 to 7 year. There's a lot of countries you go and the real estate spikes down and up. Florida is fairly stable, okay? Apart from, obviously, we had the big crash that encompassed the whole world. But I tell people, if you look at Central Florida and you factor in a 6 to 7% appreciation each year, I don't think you'll be let down in the long term.